My fiancé's childhood sweetheart returned from abroad, and the first thing she did was make a bet with me, Samantha. The agreement stated that if my fiancé, Ethan, left me 9 times for her, I would willingly give up my position as his wife. I agreed. On the 9th time, his childhood sweetheart, Willow, cried, "Ethan, if you don't marry me, I'll marry that spoiled rich kid from the Johnston family in the city." He frantically hung up the phone, abandoned me yet again, stole his family's household registration book, and got married to Willow. That day, they announced their relationship on social media, and everyone in our circle eagerly awaited to see me and the Johnstons make fools of ourselves. Then Johnston approached me, saying, casually, "Your fiancé stole my wife, so it's only fair that you become my wife, right?" I nodded. "Fair. When are you getting married?" His jaw dropped. He stared at me for a long time, his ears turning red. "Since you don't have any objections, it's settled then. We're getting married in 3 days. If you dare to run away, you're dead." He said this as he ran off, bumping into people and knocking over ornaments in a panic, as if I were going to eat him alive. I let my fingers glide across the piano keys, a slight smile playing on my lips. As soon as Jackson left, Ethan arrived. I glanced at him, then coldly looked away. His face turned pale, and he rushed towards me. "Samantha, are you angry? I can explain. Willow is timid. If she marries that womanizer, Jackson Johnston, her life will be ruined. I can't just watch her jump into the fire." So he broke his promise to me and married her. But even if he hadn't married her, him leaving me for her a 9th time meant there was no future for us. I said calmly, "You should go. Now that you're married, I don't need to deal with the breakup." Ethan frowned, looking at me even more anxiously. "Samantha, Willow and I are only married in name. I only married her to help her out of trouble. I promise you, I only see her as a sister. I'll never touch her. And Willow and I have agreed that we'll divorce in 6 months. Then she'll go abroad. I'll have to ask you to bear with it for this time. And let's have a secret relationship. Don't worry, I'll marry you. Please don't make things difficult for her. Get along with her peacefully." I understand his concern for Willow, but why does he have the audacity to ask me to go from his girlfriend to his mistress and wait for him unconditionally for 6 months? Even if I wanted to, my parents wouldn't let me degrade myself. I said softly, "A woman from the Stevens family would never marry a divorced man." Ethan's face darkened. "Divorced man? You? No, I won't betray you. Why say such hurtful things? Besides, I'm only her husband in name, but my heart belongs to you. We can have a secret relationship and everyone will think you're my real wife." "Why? Can't you understand? Do you have to watch Willow fall into the pit of fire before you're satisfied?" My eyes flickered. He said his heart belonged to me, yet he abandoned me 9 times for his childhood sweetheart. She said she couldn't eat, so he ditched my birthday party, ordered her a meal, and fed her. She said she had a headache, so he left me in the pouring rain to go home alone and bought her medicine. Time and time again, my heart was tormented. Yesterday, she said she didn't want to marry that spoiled rich kid, so he stole the household registration book and married her, making me the laughingstock of the circle. Now he wants to have a secret relationship with me while he's married, which is no different from making me his mistress. Is it not enough to make me a laughingstock? Does he want to see me disgraced? I looked down at the piano. "I'm sorry, I don't like secret relationships, and I won't marry a divorced man. Mr. Lucas, please leave." After being repeatedly humiliated, Ethan finally lost his temper. "Samantha Stevens, everyone in this circle knows we've been together for years. Our parents have met, and you even lived in my house. If you don't marry me, who else will you marry?" With that, Ethan stormed out. My face was pale, and I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. I knew that the Ethan who was willing to spend a fortune on me, who would fight tooth and nail to protect me, was gone. From now on, he was just Willow's husband. Perhaps from the moment he abandoned me repeatedly for Willow, I should have stopped in time and cut my losses. Unfortunately, I was too naive. I always fantasized that our years of relationship wouldn't lose to a woman who left him when he was at his lowest. However, I was wrong. They were childhood sweethearts, and I was just a pastime to fill the void. As if afraid I'd change my mind, Jackson came to my family's house the next day with his parents to formally ask for my hand in marriage. Their sincerity was evident. The gifts alone filled the entire living room, and the valuable business contract they brought further showed their seriousness. My parents were moved, but they cared more about my happiness. Jackson was still a spoiled, rich kid, and they were worried that I wouldn't be happy married to him. I took some effort to persuade them. Love isn't as tangible as money. Jackson, despite his flaws, was the only son of the Johnston family. As long as he didn't commit any crimes, he would live a life of luxury and ease. I was telling the butler to have someone put the gifts away when I turned around and saw Willow walking arm in arm with Ethan. Seeing the dazzling jewelry, a hint of jealousy flashed in Willow's eyes. Ethan frowned, displeased. Didn't I tell you to get married after 6 months? Why did you tell others that the wedding will still take place? Preparing so much dowry is annoying, you know. I was stunned. He seemed to have misunderstood something. He thought the dowry sent by the Johnstons was the dowry I was preparing for my wedding with him. Willow looked pitiful. Samantha, please lend Ethan to me for a while. I really don't want to marry the Johnstons. She reached out to hold my hand. My gaze fell on the diamond ring on her ring finger, and I was momentarily stunned. It was the family heirloom of the Lucas family, which Ethan's mother wanted to pass down to her daughter-in-law. I had begged him to put it on my finger on our official engagement day, but he only gave me a pair of ordinary rings. And now it was brazenly on Willow's finger, and they hadn't even had a proper wedding. Willow looked at me, her eyes full of triumph. She put her ringed hand affectionately into Ethan's arms, pulled out a box, and put it in his hands. You specially prepared a gift for Samantha. Don't be angry, quickly coax her. Ethan coldly and reluctantly shoved the gift box into my hands. I didn't take it. The box fell to the ground with a thud, and a crudely made silver bracelet fell out. Ethan became furious. Samantha Stevens, what are you doing? What was I doing? That thing wasn't even as good as our dog's collar, and he dared to say I was being difficult? My expression must have been too sarcastic, because Ethan angrily kicked the bracelet away. Fine, if you don't want it, Willow said sadly. Samantha, what are you doing? Ethan and I chose this for you. Ethan glared angrily at me, implying that I was ungrateful. Willow bent down to pick up the bracelet and hesitantly looked at me. Samantha, I know you're angry with me, but you can't disappoint Ethan's feelings. She acted as if she were heartbroken, gently wiping the non-existent dust off the table. I looked at her feigned distress and laughed. She was still as manipulative as ever, using a few words to blame me. Moreover, it was she who proposed the bet. Since she won, I unconditionally gave up. Ethan, I didn't even say a word, yet she was still acting pitiful in front of me. I looked at Willow coldly and said, your marriage is done, and I've broken off the engagement too. We are parallel lines. If there is nothing else, let's meet less often. But they thought I was just saying it in anger, and that it wasn't serious. Willow picked up the silver bracelet and was about to put it on my wrist. Samantha, don't be angry. Ethan made it himself. I don't even have one. I was annoyed and directly waved her hand away. I said I don't want it. I didn't use much force, but Willow fell towards a nearby shelf, as if someone had forcefully pushed her. She immediately burst into tears, looking pitiful. Samantha, I overstepped. I just hope you can accept Ethan's feelings and get back together with him. Ethan held her in his arms, looking up angrily at me. Samantha Stevens, you're too much. Apologized to Willow immediately. Seeing my indifference, he grabbed the silver bracelet from Willow's hand and threw it in the trash can. Someone who disrespects other people's feelings like you doesn't deserve my efforts. I hope you won't regret it and come crawling back to me like a dog later. With that, he supported Willow and left without looking back. A few steps away, Willow pretended to casually look back, a silent smile on her face. She said, you lost completely. Willow was an illegitimate child, and she was only brought back to the Johnston family when she was 11. I heard that she didn't know table manners and was mocked by her peers. Not only that, but her sister pretended to lose her grip and smashed a piece of cake onto her skirt. It was Ethan who saved her when she was helpless. After that, she, like a bird, kept following Ethan. Ethan, seeing her pitiful state, tacitly allowed her to approach him and would take extra care of her, which led to an uncontrollable situation. Anything delicious or fun, he would remember. Willow's share. After Willow went abroad, Ethan and I met, got to know each other, and fell in love. But the stories of them two kept circulating in the circle. When she wasn't around, I often got jealous of Willow, and he would comfort me. No, I just pity her situation. I really thought his feelings for Willow were pity and sympathy. But I never expected that as soon as Willow returned, he changed. He abandoned me 9 times for her, and after receiving the news that she was going to marry Johnston, he directly took her to get a marriage license, performing a fait accompli. Their marriage announcement filled my social media with blessings, childhood sweethearts, a perfect match, and I was the one he could easily abandon. His feelings for me changed, or maybe they never existed. I couldn't help but feel self-deprecating. Why did I bother to get involved with him when I couldn't let go of someone else? The day before my wedding was Valentine's Day. Every year, I would ask Ethan to spend it with me. This year, I just wanted to be alone. I went to my favorite flower shop to buy a bouquet of roses, only to be told that all the flowers had been bought. I was still wondering who was so extravagant. Then I heard the florist say enviously, "Mrs. Lucas is so lucky. Mr. Lucas bought all the flowers just because she said she liked them." It's another day of envying other people's love. I heard that Mr. Lucas gave up his girlfriend of many years for Mrs. Lucas. He must really love Mrs. Lucas. They say, don't envy long-term relationships that last 4, 10, or 8 years because they probably won't get married. True love is possession, and flash marriage shows true love. I never thought that one day I would be the subject of the gossip. Without saying anything, I turned to leave. Before I walked too far, I heard someone call my name. Samantha. I subconsciously looked in the direction of the sound and saw Ethan with his arm around Willow, and Willow was holding a bouquet of roses. Samantha, are you here to buy flowers? Ethan was cold, probably because of what happened earlier. Willow said casually, Samantha, I'm sorry. Ethan bought all the flowers for me, but you can have this bouquet. She was about to hand me the flowers. I cautiously took a big step back, not wanting to fall for Willow's tricks again. It's just a bouquet of flowers. I have plenty. Besides, I don't have a habit of taking second-hand goods, whether it's people or things. Ethan was angry at my evasive attitude. You're so kind, but some people are ungrateful. With that, he pulled Willow and walked towards a restaurant in the mall. As soon as they left, Jackson's assistant found me. Miss Stevens, the boss asked me to give this to you. I looked at the gift box in his arms with some surprise. It was a bouquet of roses made of rubies. I was really shocked by Jackson's extravagance. This bouquet was enough to buy me several rose gardens. Undeniably, it was the most exquisite and beautiful bouquet I had ever received. I went home with the flowers, satisfied. The next day, I got up early to get ready. Putting on my wedding dress, I looked at myself in the mirror and couldn't help but feel dazed. I always thought I would marry Ethan, but things didn't go as planned. Marrying the infamous Johnston was something I never even imagined. It was truly ironic. I was about to go downstairs when I heard a commotion outside. I thought it was Jackson, but it was Ethan. Seeing me, Ethan immediately frowned. What are you dressed like that for? Didn't I say I can't marry you until 6 months later? Perhaps my previous image of being completely at his beck and call had sunk in too deeply, making him think I couldn't live without him. I looked into his eyes and said seriously, Ethan, it's over between us. The person I'm marrying today isn't you. My husband will be here to pick me up soon. If you have nothing else, just leave. Ethan sneered. Samantha Stevens, who else will you marry if not me? I never thought you'd push me this far, wearing a wedding dress, preparing your own dowry. You're shameless, aren't you? You were so aloof and proud before. Why are you so eager to marry me now? I said I had to protect Willow, at least for 6 months. If you're push me this way, I won't marry you either. Change out of that wedding dress, or you'll be humiliated. I was tired of dealing with his stubbornness. I was just about to call for someone to take him away when the sound of celebratory gunfire interrupted us. Ethan looked at me. Is someone having a wedding next door? Before he finished speaking, Jackson walked in with a group of groomsmen. He glanced at Ethan and smiled. Wow. Didn't expect you, Ethan, to come to my wedding with Samantha. Seeing Jackson in his wedding attire, Ethan was stunned, momentarily unable to react. He came back to his senses and stared at Jackson warily. What are you doing here? Jackson smirked triumphantly. Judging by my attire, I'm here to pick up the bride. Ethan looked incredulous. He seemed to have thought of something and hesitantly said, What do you mean? Then he looked at me, his voice trembling. Samantha, is he lying? I looked at him calmly. He's not lying. He's the man I'm marrying. Today is our big day. Ethan angrily interrupted me. This is impossible. You must be lying to me. We were already engaged, and you love me so much. How could you marry someone else? I looked at him sarcastically, wondering what he was pretending. Clearly, he was the one who broke his promise first. Ethan seemed to realize this, and a hint of fear flashed across his face. He angrily pointed at Jackson, exasperated. Samantha, do you know what kind of person Jackson is? You won't be happy married to him. Jackson glared at him unhappily, his eyes showing some unease towards me. I walked over to Jackson and said coldly, This doesn't concern you. I know what I'm doing. Today is my big day. If you're not here to offer your blessings, then please leave. Jackson looked delighted. He casually put his arm around my waist, smugly saying, Did you hear that? We don't welcome you. Go. Ethan rushed forward, grabbing my wrist tightly. Samantha, you can't marry him. I'll take you away. Jackson didn't give an inch. He said coldly, Does Samantha agree to go with you? Ethan said firmly, She loves me so much. She'll definitely go with me. Jackson laughed angrily. From the day you married Willow, you've had no chance. Willow appeared from somewhere, anxiously, grabbing Ethan's arm. Ethan, what are you doing? Ethan ignored her and pleaded, looking at me. Samantha, I know I was wrong. Don't marry him. I'll divorce Willow. I beg you, don't marry him. I glanced at Willow, whose face was pale, and sneered. I said, I don't like second-hand goods. Ethan trembled, unable to believe that I would ever look at him with such disgust. As the auspicious time approached, I signaled the butler to show them out. Ethan was persistent. He was about to approach me when the butler subtly blocked him. Jackson glanced at him sideways, took my hand, and carefully helped me into the car. The moment the car started, I heard Ethan's hysterical shouts. Samantha, come back. Samantha, I know I was wrong. Don't marry him. I was annoyed and quickly rolled up the window, completely blocking out his voice. Jackson was right. From the moment Ethan and Willow announced their relationship, there was no possibility between Ethan and me. Just as we reached the hotel, Jackson considerately helped me out of the car. Suddenly, there was a screech of brakes behind us. Ethan got out of his car and ran towards us regardless. However, before he got close, he was stopped by Jackson's bodyguards. Jackson patted my shoulder reassuringly, smiling. Go in first, I'll deal with him. Looking at him, I felt strangely reassured. I nodded and calmly went inside. After a while, Jackson came in and I calmly scanned him from head to toe. Making sure he wasn't injured, I breathed a sigh of relief. With our friends and family as witnesses, Jackson and I exchanged rings. Amidst everyone's cheers, he devoutly kissed me. Looking into his captivating eyes, my heart skipped a beat. Back at the Johnston's house, I immediately apologized to Jackson. I'm sorry, I really didn't know Ethan would act like that. Jackson looked at me tenderly, smiling. You never have to apologize to me. Looking into his eyes, I suddenly felt awkward. Jackson gently approached me, implying something. May I? I blushed and nodded. The next second, Jackson tackled me, looking down at me, and kissed my forehead. Samantha, believe me, I'll make you happy. That night was passionate. Jackson and I were lost in the sea of desire until dawn when he finally released me. The next day, I woke up when the sun was already high. I nervously got up, only to be pulled back into Jackson's arms. Tired? Sleep a little longer. Touching his bare skin, remembering last night, my face turned crimson. I awkwardly pushed him away. We have to serve tea to Mom and Dad today. Jackson mischievously stole a kiss on my face, smiling. Don't worry, your husband is here. Jackson's parents were very kind. When they saw us downstairs, they didn't scold us, but instead teased us playfully. My face turned red, but Jackson shamelessly asked them for a gift. Jackson's mother scolded him playfully and put a jade bracelet on my wrist. This is our family heirloom. My mother-in-law gave it to me, and now I'm passing it down to you. I hope you and Jackson will grow old together. I nodded with red eyes. Marrying into the Johnston family was far better than I had imagined. Just then, Jackson's butler came to report that Ethan had been kneeling outside all night, threatening to stay there unless I forgave him. I stopped Jackson, who was about to go out, and beat him up and said to the butler, "Ignore him. Let him kneel as long as he wants. It's not my shame to bear." Jackson suddenly felt inspired, holding my waist tightly. On the day I returned to my parents' house, I was stopped at the door by Ethan, who had rushed out from somewhere. Seeing me affectionately leaning on Jackson, his eyes turned red. I was annoyed. "What do you want?" Ethan looked hurt. "Samantha, it's my fault. Only after you got married did I realize how wrong I was before." I frowned unhappily. "It's all in the past." Ethan looked at me cautiously. "Samantha, I've already agreed to a divorce with Willow. Give me another chance. I promise I'll be good to you." Jackson instantly became furious, wanting to tear Ethan to shreds. I patted him to calm him down and interlocked our fingers. "Ethan, marriage isn't a game. Now that you've married someone, be good to her. I'm very happy now. Please don't bother me anymore." Ethan persisted. "You're lying. We were childhood sweethearts, and you loved me so much. How could you suddenly stop loving me? Divorce him, and let's start over." I looked at Ethan, who looked somewhat frantic, and said seriously, "I'll say it one last time. There is no possibility between us. I have a husband, so please don't bother me again. Otherwise, I'll personally ask your family for an explanation." Ethan collapsed, looking at me despairingly. "Samantha, are you really so heartless?" I looked down at him. "Isn't this all your own fault?" To be honest, I didn't quite understand Ethan. I had once loved him wholeheartedly, compromising for him, only to be met with his contempt and betrayal. Now he had gotten what he wanted by marrying Willow and was still clinging to me. He didn't care how much his actions bothered my life. I felt he wasn't in love with me. He was just self-destructive. With that, I walked past him with Jackson and went inside. I thought things would end there. However, Ethan sent me a message using an unfamiliar number. "I have a secret about Jackson. The Golden Cup, come quickly." The Golden Cup was a private restaurant, and Jackson was a frequent customer. Rumor had it that it was run by Jackson's close female friend. Thinking of the rumors, my heart sank. When I stepped out of the house, Ethan's car was already parked at the gate. He seemed to have expected me to come. Seeing me, a burning desire flickered in his eyes, as if his long-awaited wish was about to come true. "Samantha, he's a big wolf in sheep's clothing." "Samantha, this information cost me a lot of effort to get. I'll take you there. Don't worry, I'll help you." Even though I told myself that Jackson and I were only politically married, that everyone in this circle did their own thing, it wasn't uncommon. But I found I couldn't convince myself to accept it. This feeling was even more uncomfortable than when I found out about Ethan and Willow's announcement. I realized I had developed other feelings for him. Thinking about this, I became even more restless. Seeing this, Ethan seemed to realize something and became silent. Before getting out of the car, I hesitated for a moment, but I found that I couldn't just let it go and refused Ethan's help. I got out of the car swiftly. Just as I was about to enter, I heard conversations inside. I stopped and my heart pounded in my chest. "Jackson, you're not being nice enough. You've forgotten your brother once you got married. Are you jealous of your sister-in-law? You know that guy has been thinking about Samantha for years. He finally married her. Doesn't he have to cherish her?" Jackson said nonchalantly, and even a little proudly, "Exactly, my wife is always my top priority. Look at you, so proud. You know who got drunk and cried, saying he wanted to steal the bride when he heard that Samantha and Ethan got engaged? Jackson is worthy of the title of a lover. He really repaid his debt with his body. Not only that, I also heard that he secretly followed her, almost getting caught by the police. Ha 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 ha." A long forgotten memory suddenly attacked me. Was that poor college student I helped while traveling Jackson. I was shocked. Jackson is much more handsome now. Just as I was about to leave, I heard someone continue to tease Jackson. "You guys don't understand, this guy even has a room full of Samantha's portraits. Before, he often stayed in there and got emo. Also, it was he who spread the news that he was going to marry Willow. He really did everything to marry Samantha." Hearing this, Ethan was flustered. He never expected that he would end up shooting himself in the foot. He looked at me with guilt and embarrassment. He looked deeply at me and fled in a panic. Only now did he realize that he had lost completely and that he no longer had a chance. Seeing me catch up to him, Ethan covered his face and choked up. Samantha, I'm sorry. I was arrogant. Not only did I lose you, I also did so many bad things to you. Do you hate me? I remained unmoved. Crocodile tears are not worthy of sympathy. Finally, I sighed and said softly, Ethan, I once loved you wholeheartedly, but you didn't care. At the time, I decided to leave only after I accumulated enough disappointment. I believe that I have done my best for you and this relationship. We're adults now and should take responsibility for our actions. I'm very happy now, and I hope we won't see each other again. Ethan looked at me with a pained expression, knowing that I was determined to end things with him, and he had only himself to blame. Ethan wiped his face, nodded with red eyes. Goodbye, Samantha. Goodbye. Goodbye forever, I silently repeated in my heart. And this time, Ethan and I were truly over. I turned around and went home directly, finding the butler and asking for the location of Jackson's studio. Even though I was mentally prepared, I was still shocked when I opened the door. The studio was filled with my portraits. From age 18 to 28, 10 years of life, crying or laughing, bright or flamboyant. Every one of them, he painted me so vividly. Only now did I truly feel his unspoken love. Only now did I realize that the love I felt during our time together was not an illusion. I held those portraits and wept. When Jackson returned, he saw me kneeling on the studio floor, crying my eyes out. He nervously helped me up, feeling at a loss. Samantha, what's wrong? Did I upset you? I threw myself into his arms. Jackson, have I told you I like you, I love you? Jackson was overwhelmed and flustered, not knowing where to put his hands. Then he came to his senses, joyfully hugged me and said deeply, Samantha, I love you. I've loved you for a long time,